Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our next podcast. We're going to kind of change things up a little bit this episode. We're going to do a couple different topics, kind of expand on the conversation a little bit. So with us today, we've got DJ.
Hey, everybody.
We've got Missy, and we've got James, and myself, Matt. So the first topic we're going to talk about today is under the category of wins. So let's talk about the best call you've ever made underwater.
You know what? The best call I've made underwater is I've aborted a dive. Yep, I know. It's super boring, but that's what I've got. I was in the middle of a dive. It was Christy and I and Chris and somebody else was out there with us, and I don't remember who it was. But I, for whatever reason, got super dizzy underwater and had to stop for a second. Was like, nope, not happening. And so we all surfaced, and then I was like, I'm done diving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that the same one that you talked about a couple episodes ago?
No.
With anxiety? This is something different?
No, this was something different. I forget who was with us. It was Christy and I and Chris. Who else was with us? I don't remember. But yeah, no, it was a night dive. We were doing a night dive out at the lake, and I got just super dizzy and had to stop and was trying to focus myself and couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's definitely a good call because
I'm gonna piggyback on you. Best call I ever made was aborting a dive, like you. Pretty benign dive. Really experienced guys in the team. It was me and two others. We just had a friend in the community that had passed away that week. So we were all it was our first time back in the water after that. Maybe that had something to do with the nerves, shitty visibility, that sort of stuff. And it wasn't just me, it was all of us. Navigation was jacked up. It was all bad, right? So best call was that because we all had the wherewithal to turn the dive and go home safely. And it was hey, we got out and we talked about it and couldn't tell you why it was what it was, but we got home safe. So that's the best call.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, Missy.
Yeah, calling a dive is always a good idea when the conditions aren't right, because anybody can call it. That's kind of one of the golden rules. Anybody can call a dive at any time. There's been times where I've had some equipment malfunctions, and it's compounding issues, like what you're talking about. It's one thing after another. It's just this is just not going to work out. This dive is not, it's just not feeling right, or the conditions aren't right. It's just, nope, we're done. Ain't happening. Absolutely.
Those dives were just nothing is jiving.
Yeah.
What about some navigation? Anybody have a navigational win? I know there's been a couple of times. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this worked out great.
It did. Actually, it was one of the last time I was in Catalina. My two dive buddies were not my husband or DJ or people that I normally would be dive buddies with. And it was the first time I'd ever led a dive in the ocean too. And not even thinking about it. We took off and we're on this dive and doing the thing. It didn't dawn on me until a little bit into the dive where I was like, I'm the one leading the dive, right? And so we milled around and did our thing. I got us back to the boat just based on what was around us. Not even thinking to snap a point on my compass before I descended, but just on landscape navigating, which I was extraordinarily proud of myself for, because nav is not my strongest suit down there.
Right on.
But yeah, that was solid. It was a good dive too. God, it was a good dive.
There's no better feeling than getting back to the boat.
Yeah.
I've done circles, figure eights. And, hey guys, we're back. And everybody's like, magic.
I remember.
Well, and that whole dive was good. Sorry, babe. The my buoyancy was on point. The whole dive was as win. Everything was on point. There's no struggling with the buoyancy at the end of the dive or any of that. It was just so nice and smooth. So finding the boat on top of that was it was one of the first times where I was actually I do know what I'm doing.
I remember one of the dives that I went on, probably less than 40 dives, I would say. I was on a dive boat, local charter, and got paired up with a guy that, didn't have very many dives under his belt, kind of still trying to figure out his computer, a couple different things. I was asked, hey, can you dive up, partner up with this guy here? I said, sure, absolutely. Jump in the water. We go for a dive. It's a brand new dive site that to me at least. Kind of follows in the landscaping. Visibility was kind of terrible. We hit the dive. We're about 25 minutes. We check his air. You know, it's the turning point. Hit the turning point, start coming back. Looking at landscaping, I'm like, you know, just like, I don't know. This kind of looks a little familiar. Okay, the rock's on my left. I think the boat's on the right. Okay, swimming. And then I'm like, okay, we'll turn right here. We turn, find the anchor, first shot. And I was like, oh, we get to the surface. He's like, how'd you do that? And I was like, you know, it's just a little bit of practice, you know. But on the back end, it's like, holy cow, how did I do that? That was amazing.
Little did he know that this guy he got paired up with, by this point, only had like 600 PSI of air left.
Well,
Yeah.
Almost a tragedy.
Ooh.
yeah. Communication. Definitely learned from that after the fact, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was a good dive. I mean, we made it back to zero. Everyone had less, you know, more than 500 PSI and didn't have to make a major surface swim. So,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's always a win.
Man, I can't remember how many times being on the local charter, popping up and looking around. You're like, where the heck's the boat? And then you just hear somebody from way across the way, hey, you need some help? And you're like, what? And then you look over and you're like, oh, they're way over there. And you just kind of get a good heading and you drop back down and swim out and pop back up and you're on the right side of the boat now. Yeah.
I just say, yeah, come pick me up. I'm tired. I can't swim. Help. I've fallen and I can't get up.
I've surfaced and I don't want to swim that far.
Yeah.
So what was that topic you said? The topic's what, win-win-win?
Yeah. I guess something else under that category is like additional training. Has there been any moments where some additional training that you have taken has helped out in a real life situation?
I'm going to jump right on this. So mask clearing and water being trapped on my face has been my thing, right? It's been the hardest thing for me to deal with and to mitigate. And I do everything before my dive to ensure that I don't have to mess with my mask while I'm down there. And I knew that working towards my dive master and hoping to go dive pro, which I've completed since the last time I was on this podcast.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. So I knew that was something I needed to work on, but knowing myself and how I function, it wasn't something that I could just go and work on arbitrarily. Like it had to be in a classroom setting, what have you. So DJ and I went down to our shop and we worked on it, just mask drills, and getting comfortable with just being in the water without my mask and, you know, going through all the open water tasks over again, but working on them specifically and for extended periods of time. I ended up during my dive master training, I went down with a group of students as an observer, you know, just auditing the class and just kind of watching how things need to flow and whatnot. And I ended up having to do an air share drill with one of these students, and the thing that I most feared happened. We went to do an air share and he, instead of just, you know, tapping regs or holding the regulator up for me, he shoved it in my mouth. And when he did, he hit the purge at the same time, shot water down my airway, plus dislodged my mask and flooded it. So I had all of my biggest fears happening all at the same time. And everything, like the panic and the anxiety was still there, but it was dull compared to what it used to be. And it was an immediate, like, as a pro, I can't freak out in front of a student, right? And everything that DJ and I had done in the pool just immediately took over. That muscle memory took over. And even though there was this anxiety and this panic, you know, in the back of my head, relying on my training and everything that we had done immediately mitigated that. And, cleared my reg, cleared my mask, and the student never knew anything was going on, that anything was amiss. It was just, we continued on. And that was such a huge, huge moment. And it was absolutely incredible where all that training paid off in a very, very real situation.
Absolutely. Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. Proud of you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks, Deej.
going over that.
Of course.
With the wife there.
That was one of the things that I think also helped me when I was newly becoming an instructor for that, and being able to get in the pool and work with her, with Missy, and it was fantastic. I mean, she did great. It was super cool being able to see her from where she started to then wanting to become a dive pro, and then from then going through the stages of that. And I mean, in reality, facing a lot of fears that she had with it.
Yeah, that first session in the pool
Yeah.
was tough. That was tough.
Yeah, kind of jumping on that same topic. I remember doing some practicing, coming back from a dive, slinging a pony bottle, and just getting in the practice of switching from one rag to another. And I didn't go over the skills ahead of time. I know this is kind of against the topic, but it's also with the topic as well. I didn't go over some of the pre-checks associated to it, and I went to switch to a different cylinder, and I took a breath, about a half a breath, and it stopped. And through the training that I've had doing technical diving training, I was able to mitigate some of those fears and kind of center myself and go, okay, this isn't that big of a deal. I've got plenty of gas on my back. I've got multiple regulators that I can grab, kind of go over some of these checks, do what I need to do, crack the cylinder back open, and able to do all this while still staying in trim, which is a big deal realistically. I mean, if you're thinking about what could happen versus this minor task, as you can call it, during a safety stop at 20 feet, if you can practice those same skills and handle that, it's handling it exactly the same 120 feet or 200 feet or what have you. Being able to retain and maintain composure during that situation was definitely beneficial.
Nice.
What about you, James?
I'm glad you asked.
Hey,
So what's the topic?
talking about wins, times when training actually paid off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So times that training paid off, I think every dive. I think that navigation, like I said earlier, navigation seems to be a hot topic one, right? If you do navigation well, you can look like a superhero. I'd say, yeah, it's probably a navigation deal. There's been several times where I've had to do some navigation over the course of a couple of miles, like some complex, make a go for 35 minutes, make a heading right turn, go for another 25 minutes, make a left turn, whatever. And then to do that navigation and make it successful, then it's that's always like holy crap. I think you can't get lucky on that stuff. Like you actually did it on purpose. And there's also times where I've been lucky, right? Like I found the anchor. I can't believe this happened. I was totally lost until I wasn't. But there's also been some times on nav where it's like, yeah, I did that on purpose. That's exactly what I knew I was doing that. I planned that out. I did it. I executed. And when you feel in control of your dives like that, there's no better feeling. Of all the things, you actually got to conquer something. Maybe it's not your day to conquer buoyancy, or maybe it's not your day to have a bad hair day or whatever. But that day I conquered the navigation.
Yeah. It feels good to kind of stray away from a trust me dive and use those skills. Definitely.
I think trust me dives are easy and they're relaxing sometimes, right? That's, when we look at hiring a DM, it's like, yeah, show me around. Like I don't
absolutely
have to worry about anything. I'm here. You're going to show me the octopus.
I'm so lost right now, but I know he's going to get me back.
Yeah.
Where
Oh yeah.
and the surface is right there. Oh,
And it's just a chill drift dive. Absolutely.
He's the DM and the cook. They're not leaving without the cook. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good to go.
another topic we can talk about, times the dive team just clicked. Like when you're going on a dive, you've got a couple people with you, you plan it out, you take it out and you execute it, and it's just everything is just going absolutely perfect.
I got one.
Okay.
So started the dive again. The plan was to do this overly complex deal, right? We're gonna enter here. We're gonna DPV to this other island. We're gonna then DPV back to the island, hop out, have a beer at this place. Then we're gonna get back in, dive another hour south, hop out, grab another beer, get back in, and we had like 5 or 6 stops. Started at like 10:30 in the morning, right? And we're hitting all of our stops and we're getting out, we have a beer, whatever. And then we get back in, go to the next place. The kind of like each place was a beach tiki bar sort of deal. So you're like, man, you get to talk about the segment that you just did. You have a beer. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see that? So you're doing like almost like 6, it is 6 dives, 5 or 6 dives in a row. But we started at 10:30, did a deep dive, came back, talked about that, got in the water. the next one, you know, was like we had a cruise ship go over us, and it was like, holy crap, that thing was loud, right? It's like a freight train going over the top of you. And then, you know, so we had that, and then the next one was like, oh my gosh, that reef was beautiful, and we were spearing lionfish, and it was just really cool. And then the one after that was like getting twilight, so now we're looking at bioluminescence, and it just, all these things were clicking. Got to watch sunset, you know, while we're drinking a beer. Then we get back in on the rebreathers, scooters, head to the next spot. Last stop, we had staged a truck there with a nice chest full of beer, and there's a food truck doing burgers at the end at night. So, and we ended at like 8 o'clock at night. So
That sounds amazing.
it was just like, I mean, it doesn't get, for me, it's never been any better than that.
'Cause you
Linking-
haven't dealt with me yet.
Game on, let's do it. I'm 100% on board. But yeah, I mean, for me, that was just like, I've never linked so many things together, so many aspects, so many different types of diving, so many different, and it was all planned. It wasn't like an accident. So that's the pinnacle. That's the pinnacle for
sounds
me. It was
amazing.
just, yeah, I mean, everything that was awesome was awesome. You know, everything that went well did go well.
That's
So
dope.
that was great.
That's pretty sweet.
There was quite a few dives like that we had, at least that I felt anyways, that we had in Roatan. There was a handful of us that, you know, dive regularly together, where it's all part of our dive family group. Some of those dives were pretty amazing. You know, everybody was doing their thing, and, you know, there was no hangups. It was just chill diving. You know, jump off and everybody does the dive, and, you know, there was enough room on the reef. We could all spread out, and we were all looking at things and doing the dive, get back on and go to the next spot. And it was the same thing. And I think it was like 5 days of diving like that, where just there was very few things, and each dive was just chill. Come up, talk about the thing, go get some food, go back out.
I think that's like a Nirvana, right? Like having those
absolutely.
Yeah.
linking those days together, doing that dive trip,
Yeah.
like, holy crap, you know, we dove, we had good food, good drinks, good whatever.
And even if like somebody's buoyancy wasn't on point, or there was whatever, the issues were so minor, right? And it made for an incredible week of diving, and relaxing diving at that, right? There were not a lot of huge stressors, and yeah, that was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah. There was a newer dive site, and we wanted to go check it out. It was one that wasn't explored as much. My buddy and I, we kind of planned some stuff out. We dropped some glow sticks in the water to kind of figure out, you know, where exactly we were in the water, what we're looking for. Took some waypoints, took some headings from the surface, from a bridge, we'll call it, and kind of figured out a direction that we wanted to go once we hit that glow stick. And we went over, did a little bit of hiking, got the gear set up, jumped in the water, got a few things figured out, kind of got yelled at a little bit until we had the discussion that, you know, we're on a mission, kind of checking some stuff out. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Just making sure you guys aren't swimming. As long as you're diving, that's fine. So dropped in the water, started swimming, found the glow stick, which was pretty neat.
Started diving. You started diving, not swimming.
Excuse me.
Yeah, because then you would have gotten in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we dropped in the water. We started diving. Let me reiterate.
Edited.
We were diving. So diving along, and we found the glow stick that we dropped in the water, which was cool. Took the heading from there. We were able to find some cables from a structure that was floating at the surface, and able to find a bunch of debris that was dropped down from swimmers, from people playing in the water. And we found handfuls of sunglasses,
Oh yeah. Hats, glasses,
Apple Watches, phones,
a couple Apple Watches. Yep.
all kinds of goodies. I mean, we probably found 45 pairs of sunglasses
Oh yeah.
just on this one quick dive, and just exploring that area that not many people go diving.
Sounds like a real honey hole. Where was this?
It's none of your
It's at a
fucking
local
business.
lake. Don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah. I was at a lake here in Arizona.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, guarded by pirates, but
Not sailors, that's for sure.
yeah. So we turned the dive at that point, started swimming back underwater, and followed our navigation. Got back to the point where we dropped in, and it was a great time. It really was. Everything went as planned. It was a good
Yeah.
time checking out new spots, new area. It was fun to explore. No,
Way too low.
yeah, absolutely. We'd be doing a giant stride
Actually,
off
I
a
don't-
helicopter at this point.
I don't think if the water level's been high enough at all this year.
It was pretty close, but the visibility paired with the depth of the lake,
Yeah.
Really was not ideal.
Where'd you guys enter?
So
From
if you're looking at
the shore.
the bridge where the walkway is, kind of by the elevators, we'll call it, off to the right, there's a walking path from the parking lot.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever popped out and gone to the restaurant?
No, thought about it.
Do that one.
That sounds like a great idea. Hey guys, how's it going? Can I get a hot dog?
Fine, we
I would love to pop out of the water to the little ice cream boat that's out there. Pop out of the water
that would be
and
cool.
have a drumstick on your surface interval.
Talking about dives you're proud of, not because they were extreme.
Ooh, I'll take that one.
Oh, yeah.
My first, and I know I've talked about this on several episodes, but the dives that I am most proud of are my first cenote dives.
I was getting ready to ask if it was still.
Yeah, it is, because my biggest fear as a larger person is getting stuck somewhere and not being able to turn myself around and get out of that. And right, like I had no idea. Cavern, cenote, cave. In my brain, it's all the same shit to me at that point in time. And I was real apprehensive about it. And my wife, the amazing person that she is like, yeah, let's go do it. And so I'm like, all right, well, this is what I'm doing. And I was super apprehensive about it, not being uncomfortable, but having a real healthy concern that I was going to get stuck somewhere. Now, the logical part of me takes over with this and goes, there are people that do this daily, and this is like a very established thing. So I'm not going to get stuck somewhere, but like there's still that irrational fear, and I was able to kind of face that and get through it. Now it's, as I've said before, it's my absolute favorite thing in the world. So
Absolutely. That, yeah. What about any unspoken communication that you had underwater that just kind of worked out? Like where you looked at your buddy and you're swimming along underwater. I'm going to say swimming, even though we're diving, because that's what we're doing. We're swimming in the water column, diving. And you're just kind of hanging out and you look at your buddy and you kind of think something and you just kind of give a nod. You ever had any of those situations?
All the time. Yeah. I mean, there could be a lot of different reasons, right? Like, did you just see some buffoon, terrible diver dust out the coral, and you just like look at your buddy and you got the big old wide eyes and you're like, what the hell was that? And then the head shake, or something like that. You've got that. You've got the, dude, did we just see that? Did we just see those sharks, those two big 7, 8, 9 footers? Did that just happen? Like, so all that sort of stuff you can link up with, your team. And if you guys are real close, you can basically have a full communication underwater, full conversation just by the eyes and the gestures.
I think that happened in Catalina that time we all saw the giant bass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Massive.
I mean, sorry you weren't there to share in that, James, because that was pretty amazing. But yeah, there was what, 7 of us in that one spot, and I don't think there was a single hand signal thrown, but there's eyes all over the place, and I it was probably me. It was like,
That's pretty accurate.
yeah.
Sounds like somebody else on that trip.
But yeah, there was a whole unspoken conversation between 7 people when we came across that bass.
What really sucks is seeing that bass and you're the only person there.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Right?
you look around.
Nobody believes you.
And you're like, okay, well, I guess this really didn't matter. Like this was cool, but nobody.
Yeah. Nobody's going to believe me.
Yeah, if a tree falls in the woods, right?
Yeah.
It's like you almost have to have witnesses there to share the experience with. Otherwise, did it really happen?
Or a camera.
Or a camera. And here's the giant sea bass. Shaky cam footage.
Yeah,
That's right.
You're like, it was this big. And you look at the photo that's on there and it's like, oh my gosh, it's no bigger than my foot.
Baby
Right.
sea bass.
Thing was
Bait.
it.
So big.
Yeah.
Sea bass. That's a piece of kelp.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, that
It's
was
like
a
Garibaldi.
that was the nudibranch.
Baldy. Those huge, giant orange.
He's colorblind. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
That was a big nudibranch. Just saying, Spanish shawl.
Yeah.
Sorry. Obviously Missy, she's my wife.
Matt.
We've talked about this before, but we have our own kind of unspoken communication underwater just looking at each other when we're first starting the dive, kind of checking each other out, making that eye contact, checking body language, figuring out, okay, is this dive going to go okay? Do we need to stop once we get to depth? Once you've been diving with somebody for X amount of dives, hours.
Hours.
It definitely helps out, and you start picking up on some of those cues. You can kind of see what that nonverbal language looks like.
That body language is so incredibly important.
I have full-on arguments with my dive buddy underwater that are unspoken.
Oh, I know. I've been there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been there with me, because you just throw your hands up. You're just like, what the heck are you doing?
Right, the hands up. Single finger goes flying in the air.
Or my wife.
Goes flying in the air.
Yeah. She's never given me the finger, but we've had arguments underwater.
Something tells me she's giving you the finger.
Yeah. She has, for sure. Now, it was more so in the beginning when she first got certified. I had been certified for a little while before, not incredibly long. And I think I was, I don't want to say overprotective if that's the right word, but
No, I think that's the right.
I think it was a mix of being overprotective and not being as patient. I think I just expected her to know things or to be able to do things to the level that I thought she should, knowing that
She got it through osmosis.
Yeah. And I think it took me a little while to kind of rein that in. Also, arguments underwater helped with that too.
Oh yeah, that's a good segue into a different topic or similar topic. There's definitely been some miscommunication that Missy and I have had underwater multiple times. In the beginning, she would throw out some sign language that I had absolutely no idea what the heck she was talking about.
You know what the middle finger means.
Pretty sure she was throwing up gang signs, and I'm like, what are you talking about? We're on the West Coast. Why are you doing, what are you?
Oh, you're ridiculous.
And she's just making stuff up, and I'm like, I don't know if you're hungry. I don't know if you need to use the bathroom.
I showed you the sign for pee.
I don't know what's going on here. And then we get to the surface, and she's like, I was telling you there's a nudibranch over there. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
That's okay. And the saga continues.
No, yeah, there's been some times where Matt and I have had some pretty good miscommunication underneath there that has led to feelings once we get back to the surface, right? And because the only goes so far.
Yeah.
And especially in the beginning, again, like you said, DJ, with Chrissy, expecting her to know, expecting her to know things that or be at a level that you thought she should be at. And I think that happened with Matt and I too, to an extent, or me thinking that, he's been doing this long enough, he's going to know what I mean.
That I can speak sign language.
Yeah.
Well,
and especially because we, when you dive together, you do end up, we have like, we know the hand signal for, I have a problem, but I, with having so much anxiety around diving and, with my personal situation in the beginning, I would take that hand signal for problem and I put it in front of my chest and did it for anxiety. And if you hadn't ever dealt with me at that point, that's not anything you would ever have known. So learning that kind of unspoken language is with whom you're diving with is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it definitely helped later on when I started carrying a slate too, because then I could just write stuff down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and work on wrapping this up.
Yeah. Would you rathers hit us?
Let's roll around into the would you rathers. Would you rather always spot rare critters or always get crystal clear visibility?
Biz.
That was awful quick.
Yep.
How rare of critters are we talking about?
Yeah.
I guess that's up to your perspective there.
Something that I've always dreamed of that's not like it's not ever going to happen to me because I'm not smart enough is discovering some sort of new species.
That'd be rad. Although maybe not necessarily rare. I would absolutely love to, because all the manta in Hawaii, they're all named and they're tracked and recorded based on the spot pattern that's on their tummy. But if you find a new one, a spot pattern that they don't have, they catalog it and you get to name it. Cool. I would take that over Viz.
That would be pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, I
To name
it
a
over.
What would you name it though? Like something appropriate, majestic?
I have
appropriate?
no idea because I am so bad at that shit.
Man,
Her name would be
McMantis.
Steve.
Manta McMantis.
Yeah,
There
like
you go. Be rocking my name,
your name?
This
of
is
course.
majestic animal number A, majestic animal B, majestic animal C,
Missy Majestic.
Missy.
Melissa.
Right. Majestic animal number B. Well, I don't know because like I have a hard time coming up with clever names when we play Jackbox and whatnot. Like the responsibility of no, because we all name they all have the same like suffix or whatever. we play that.
Yeah.
But like naming a giant manta, that's intimidating. I mean, that's such a majestic creature. I would feel so overwhelmed with that.
What if they're like super pissed about the name that you gave them?
Right. Like I would have to have a conversation with it.
I'm gonna change my answer to Viz.
Biz is a solid thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Viz for DJ's going to support me on this one. So Viz in Mexico caves or cenotes when you've got the halo climb and you're not
So
sure
rad.
if you're, you've got that distinct line. So you're not sure if like you're in air, I mean, obviously you objectively know
You're underwater.
you're underwater,
Yeah.
right? But you're looking at this and you're like, I think the water level, I think there's a pool here and I'm somehow floating in the air around. Or there's a lake above me. Like,
Yeah.
1000%.
It's so cool though.
Yeah, that's a tough one to beat.
Yeah. And I will say too, especially with the water in the cenote, right? And I've said this before where the water it's so clear and so pure that you can't feel it. So to add that, you're like there's a lake below me or a lake above me, add it to that is incredible.
And then if you get the tannic water above you too, that'll be like a dark red, and you can go in or out, and it's you put your light up right into the tannic water, and it like glows red throughout the rest of the cenote.
Where is that?
Because it's pretty common.
Yeah.
You just gotta get into the different levels.
It's a lot of the cenotes that are, you get it where it's shallower on a lot of them, and you get it where it's open air on part of it, so it's not under ceiling, so that way the stuff, leaves, branches, stuff like that can fall into it, and it's not so deep that it doesn't decompose, and so you get the decomposition of the leaves and stuff, and then when it rains, it brings the tannins out in the water.
That's
That's
gotta
really
be
cool.
amazing.
We got
It is.
when Christy and I went before last now, we went to Angelita and car wash, and we got to see it where it was green tannins and it looked super spooky, but it was green tannins on Halloween.
That's pretty cool.
There's
Yeah,
some
I wanna
Mexican
see
up
that.
at the top of the cenote throwing like green dye in there.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's St. Patty's Day. Here's the green dot.
For cilantro.
Yeah.
Staying on the same topic, you guys were talking about visibility, right? Would you rather go on a long, shallow dive or short, deep, technical dive?
I like it long and shallow.
Okay.
So it depends, right? Like, what is there to see? Because there are different aspects of it, right? So when you say a long, shallow dive, what are you talking, like an hour, or are you talking like 4 hours?
That's all kind of perspective, really, right?
So I could make the argument for either one of those, right?
Yeah.
Because I could spend 4 hours in the cenotes doing one dive and be super content doing that and have the best dive. Or I could be somewhere like, and I'll just throw this out there, somewhere like Truck Lagoon or something where you get to see all, the World War II stuff. And my understanding is those are all relatively deeper dives, or to stay down at depth would be deeper technical dives.
So I guess with that being said, when discussing technical dives versus like a shallow dive, what about if with a shallow dive, it's, recreational setup, throw your gear on, you're going to jump in the water and you can go down for 2 hours, right? Because it's say 30 feet or something like that, but you're checking out all kinds of cool coral, different types of nudibranchs,
I did it in Rotan.
different things like that, like Dolphin's Den, right?
Yeah. I did a 77-minute dive in Rotan and it was super shallow and like they were putting hands beneath the water telling me to get back on the boat, and I still probably done an extra half hour on my tank.
Yeah.
But oh yeah,
I knew you were going to bring that one.
because that was amazing. Just
Yeah.
and there was so much to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like either that or versus, getting set up for a technical dive where you're going to hit the shipwreck, you're going to penetrate and go into the boat and go into the cargo hold and check out some vehicles that were in transport from the 1920s and be able to maybe take a license plate off one of the vehicles that was owned by a famous something or other, right? But realistically, it was only maybe like a 20, 30-minute dive just because you're dropping down, racking up some deco, and then heading your way right back.
That would be rad too. Absolutely.
So
I think it just depends on what you want to do. But even like the little shore dives in Cozumel, when you come out of that little staging area, you could spend 2 hours looking at that small piece of reef, looking for, all the little itty bitty tiny micro life. And
Yeah.
it would still be just as cool.
I would have to say, like I said, I could make an argument for both, but if I had to pick one, I think I'm going with the longer, shallower dive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna wreck the question long and deep, because long and deep to me ends up with a short and shallow deco anyways. So womp womp womp, right? Sorry. Yeah.
James being the exception.
But also too, there's I guess another reason I would choose long and deep, minus that component, is my opportunities for long and deep dives are less than short and deep dives. That's my opportunities there are less than my long and shallow, God, Jesus.
What would you do?
Shallow dives.
What would you do your long and deep dive on?
What do you mean?
Equipment wise.
Yeah, rebreather, right? Rebreather and
Nice.
DPV. Yeah, I do long and deep because I just don't get those.
You don't get the opportunity.
No, I mean, how easy is it to find even 300 foot of water, right? In our area, not easy. So opportunities there are just less. Yeah.
What's the deep at the lake?
It used to be, a long time ago. It used to be like 320. I haven't surveyed the bottom of the lake, but
Sure.
I think the
You mean you don't have bottles staged down there?
I think the last time I saw that deep area, it's probably sitting somewhere around 280 feet. Most of it's still, I guess if you dried up the lake, it probably would like compact to,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Hard packed.
Yeah, whatever, but there's like a legit 40 foot of silt down there.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Unfortunate too, because 320 is pretty cool. 280 is like,
Wouldn't
yeah.
know. Never been.
you could.
Someday.
Yeah, someday, maybe.
Maybe next year. We'll see. While it permits.
Yeah, and it's a tough sell though, the deep stuff, right?
Sure.
I mean, all the money, all the training, paying the deco penalty, which is the worst thing, and that's why like I'm not talking about doing these deep things in like the Atlantic or something. That would suck. Hanging on a line for 3 hours, like not interested. Hard.
Clip
Yeah.
myself to the line and just fall asleep.
That's
Right.
That's like that's it. That's even worse because now you're just getting jacked around. Oh God, it's terrible. I really try to limit that for some place where there's a nice reef that I can do my deco on and enjoy that. And like your last stop might be 2 hours anyways. So, like 20-foot stop might be 2 hours. So
Just, that sounds horrible.
well, on a reef it's not bad.
Oh, no, on a reef, that sounds great.
Oh,
Like just
God,
dangling
yeah.
in 20 feet of water and like there's
Yeah.
no way. Like there's no way. I mean, you can see the surface, but
Yeah. I don't have the mental capacity for that.
I would
my
lose
mind.
my mind.
I find it tough. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's common or not, but for me, it's tough.
Oh,
You look up and you're like, oh God. And then it's like a watch pot.
Yeah, watch pot.
and then and two, being there and having the surface, and there being a focal point, and the whole time you're doing this, eventually my vertigo would kick in, and I would be having a very bad time.
And like at that level, might as well be
Yeah.
you might as well be in a cave. There's no really.
Yeah.
You can see it, but there's no surface option.
Yeah.
So that's like super
It's a
unfortunate.
virtual ceiling.
That sounds so terrible.
Well, and with the vertigo too, like you're stuck there with it, right? If you start getting sick, like you're sick in one reg,
Oh yeah.
put the other one in and purge it and wait for the next round.
Loop soup.
Don't start.
The deco goes easier. I like TV, so like it goes easier if you're watching Netflix or something down there. But that's really the only way I've been able to kind of deal with it.
I couldn't do it though, because I'm the type of person, if I'm watching something, I've got to be able to hear it. And if I can't hear it, then it's just
Subtitle.
Yeah, subtitles are
my
a thing.
My hearing's real bad. Always has
Wow,
been.
sure.
I have even like my TV at home. I have subtitles on, so for me, it's no different than.
And
Agreed.
I have subtitles, so that way I'll actually pay attention.
So it's kind of funny that you guys.
I have to have the
Engagement.
It's kind of funny that you all had the reactions that you did with James talking about going on these deeper dives and taking those penalties, coming up to 20 feet and having to hang out for 2 hours. When the original question was, would you rather go deep for a short amount of time on decompression, or would you rather stay shallow? Because realistically speaking, that's a combination of the two.
It is. You're right.
Yeah, it is. Still,
But
I'd
see,
rather go long and shallow.
The difference, at least in my brain, I can, on a longer, shallower dive, there is nothing that says I have to be here
Yep.
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to look at this and go, 2 hours,
It's the commitment.
hour and 59 minutes, hour and 57 minutes. Like that sounds so terrible, because at 30 feet, I can go, should I have been down here for an hour and a half? All right, I'm done with this now.
Yeah.
And I can surface.
Or you can be like, ooh, you know what? I'm going to see what's over there.
Yeah. But like, I guess what I'm saying is I can go, damn, look at, I've already been down here for 2 hours versus I have to be here for 2 hours. It's a whole different paradigm.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. And you're like, man, that burger's going to be so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So tacos,
Knock back a couple beers.
take a nap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, well, thanks for answering those, guys. We'll,
Thanks for asking them.
absolutely. We'll keep trying to bring those on board as we move
I
forward.
like that.
This has been another show by Fat Guy Scuba.